Welcome back, everyone. I sort of went through the questions that you might ask a potential 365 engineer, and the questions that I've been asked when I previously gone for 365 engineering roles, I tackled about 6 or 8 of the questions that I think were very popular when I was going through a lot of these interviews. And when we were interviewed previously, I think that there is a lot of more because I noticed so much actively on that video. I think it's a good idea if do another sort of part two that goes through a few more questions and answers. So sometimes you get different type of interviewers. Sometimes you get interviewers that are very technical. So they will ask a lot of questions about Microsoft 365 and a lot of questions about the technology that they are interviewing for. Other times you will get into that uh, not so much. So maybe they are not as technical as someone else. So just in case you do get one of those more difficult interviews, let's go through some more questions and answers. Let's try and get you really prepared for that interview. So I've got a list of another 10 also that we are going to go through today. Let's give it go before we get started. If you think the content you like things cloud related, you like things Microsoft related, you like technical fun, you like just general tech, go around the house, give us a hit the subscribe button, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Okay, merge internet. So the first question we'll start with is more advanced question. So this is a question that I would ask someone if coming for a senior M365 role, or maybe even someone who is going to be project manager, so needs to work on projects that come to the company or Microsoft 365 related stuff. And the question is more of a scenario. So I would sometimes maybe give someone a scenario. I would say there is a company called Company A, and that company has purchased Company B. Now Company A already has a Microsoft 365 subscription, and they want to inherit the Microsoft 365 subscription from Company B. So this is technically a very common scenario. So we get lots of companies that have done recent acquisitions, and they want to merge two, three, six, five tenants. Unfortunately, it's not actually that easy. But from a question and answer perspective, when I'm looking for is someone that maybe has had that request come up before. So someone that maybe has come across the scenario, and they are be able to talk about how they answered the question to their customers, or to their boss, or to whatever they were in the past. So the answer that I'm looking for is more around the lines of its two separate tenants, and there are two separate Active Directory environments, and we need to consider the multiple domains and how we would inherit the domains and how we would merge it. So not looking for an exact step-by-step process. What I'm looking for is someone to tell me that is actually two completely separate tenants, and that there is a bit more work involved in swallowing one whole tenant. It's not an easy as clicking a few buttons and merging it. If that person has experience with some third-party tools and let you do it with a few clicks, that's great. They can talk about uh, that. But really, when I'm asking this sort of question, I'm only expecting the person to understand the native tooling and native requirements and possibilities in Microsoft 365. So what licensing type of ways can you license a user in Microsoft 365? So there's a many different ways that you can license user in Microsoft 365. I just want to hear what the engineer preferred method is. It doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong answer, as long as you can tell me about direct assignment or VR group assignment. That's fine. So I'm not really looking for anything particular here. I just want you to understand that there is licensing requirement depending on what application the user needs access to, and that there is multiple ways that you can assign the licenses. Even if you can give a bit of the pros and cons of each way. So maybe if you tell me that you are going to do via dynamic group, You tell me why it's good idea to do via dynamic group, or if you are going to license it via group or sync it from on premises, why is that better idea? That's the type of answer. So I'm looking for in that it doesn't really mean that there's a right or wrong answer, just that there is multiple answers. Secure score. What is purpose of Microsoft Secure Score? A lot of customers not really understand what Secure Score is. Some of them don't even know what is there, but I think it's very important that an engineer understand what Secure Score is. So if someone can tell me what Microsoft Secure Score is and what benefit it would have for the company, I think that's a really good indication of how much experience that engineer possibly has in Microsoft 365. Because at the end of the day, all our security and all of your advisory and all of your recommendations from Microsoft sit in that Disco Secure Score, and it's really good idea if you are regularly going in there. So that's type of events. So I'm looking for a system engineer to tell me the reason Microsoft Security Score is a great tool for engineers is because it can give us actual access to security recommendations from a top sort of high level, and it can give us the security rating of the tenant. It also gives you able to see all those itemized recommendations and how can actually fix them to the point where some of them even a click and fix type scenario. So that's the type of response I'm expecting. Okay, I really want any engineer that has applied for this role to be able tell me what that is, because I needed that person to have experience there is really rely on a lot of our customers, and I think a great if my engineers do as well authentication methods. So what type of authentication methods can users have for multi-factor authentication? So Microsoft 365 and Azure Active Directory, they give some many options for authentication methods for this question. I'm just looking for the engineer to sort of rattle off a few of those authentication methods. So it could be mobile app, it could be SMS notification, it could be phone call. It doesn't really matter as long as they know what some of the options are. So I'm happy, and that's just because I want them to be able to answer the user's questions. So if the user calls in or the customer calls in and they ask questions about authentication methods, I want them to be able to rattle that type of the thing of the top of their head, because it's really bread and butter type of thing should have go into the Microsoft Enter and have a look. What is the difference between the MFA or CA conditional access Microsoft 365 MFA? So the free one versus the conditional access available for P1 license users. So this is a very common one from our customers. So I would really like engineers to be able to answer this as well. So the customer, the correct uh, answer here is that the Microsoft 365 MFA doesn't really have that sort of conditional access type of option. So example, Microsoft 365 MFA allows you to enforce or enable MFA, and you just make sure that user gets MFA every time they try and log in and on any device. So this is great for the customers who don't quite have the P1 license or who haven't yet purchased that licensing. It's really important that they do turn it on, but conditional access also give us the option to make conditions. So if the user is in the office, they don't get MFA. If the user is using a compliant interim device, they don't get MFA. So if the user is using a particular application on a particular device, then do get MFA. Those are the sort of conditions we can build with conditional access. So that's the what I'm looking for a system engineer to understand. There is quite difference, and there is a lot of options in conditional access. So I don't expect anyone to know everything, but it's great if the engineer can talk about why it's beneficial to have conditional access over the free MFA, and mm, how we can further secure a tenant by doing and also actually remove a bit inconvenience around security. Okay, can you share files sharing externally from tenants? This is actually a bit of trick question because the answer is yes or no depending on your settings, and that's the exact answer I'm looking for. So I'm looking for someone to be able to tell me that it really depends on your Microsoft Teams settings or Microsoft 365 settings. So we can enable sharing, or we can disable sharing, or we can enable sharing by domain, or we can enable sharing to only people that already exist in domain or internet. It really depends on your settings. And I'm actually looking for someone to be able to give me that answer. So someone tell me depends someone to tell me that it depends on the configuration in multiple environments, and maybe even the engineer can talk about the compliance requirements from the business. So maybe the business isn't allowed to share externally, maybe we need to disable it. That would be great answer as well. But anything around the options of sharing in 365 and against the business is great track and trace, where I can track and trace email. So traditionally when we are back in Exchange on-prem, this was a bit of a trickier question because you'd have to have Exchange console and everyone would have to access to it so they can run and track and trace. But now it's a lot easier using the cloud console, and I think it's much friendlier to go in there to be able to do the track and trace in the protection portal or Exchange portal. Okay, we can do it either way. So I'm just looking for the engineer at this point to tell that's available in either the Exchange Online portal, or we can do it from the production portal. It doesn't really matter. I just want to understand that they know one of the methods, because track and traces are a type of thing that come up all the users. So users call saying I didn't receive the email, an email, or they're trying to send an email, they are getting rejected for something like that. So the first step of troubleshooting when it comes to that sort of thing is usually cloud only versus sync users track and trace. Can you tell me the difference between a cloud only user and a sync user? So someone with a bit initial experience in Microsoft 365 should really understand this question very easily. There's a two types of users in users. So there is multiple type of users, but the two types of users you can have in Microsoft 365 is a user that synchronized from on-premises, or a user who made in Microsoft 365, and then we refer them as a cloud user. So the user account can be made in both sections. So if you have enter ID, connect, and what I'm really looking for here is someone to understand there is multiple types of users, and this is important because one user, the user that syncs from on-premises can be managed on-premises, so their attributes and their information and their description that can be managed from on-premises, and we need the engineers to understand that gets managed from Active Directory on-prem, and the cloud users get managed from the Microsoft 365. So it's important that we sort of make sure that our engineers understand there is a difference because it comes a lot of customers have both types of users, and we need to able to support wrap up both of them. So I hope that been pretty helpful. Really think making these videos because I feel like I know a lot about the interior process and interview and actually the engineering aspect of Microsoft 365. So let me know if you want to hear anything in particular, if there's any sort of role that you are going for, and then you really want to know a bit more about it. Let me know in the comment section below. Maybe I've come across it. Maybe I can make a video about it if you enjoy the video. Please hit this like button, subscribe for more, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.